What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today we're going to be once again discussing a variety of some new and interesting topics, including a bunch of classified items recently added into the database, some changes Bungie made to other items, some more info on upcoming events, and a cool surprise I've got for you at the end of the video. So let's begin with some of these secret and classified items. We've seen these quite a lot in Destiny's past, Bungie mark items as classified to prevent future content from obviously being spoiled, and that's why you'll notice when new content launches, a bunch of stuff in Destiny Item Manager can't be transferred because it's classified, and that's why. So there's quite a lot of items that are continually being added into Destiny 2's database with each update, and these weren't there at launch. We obviously had quite a lot of updates recently, and they do add some things that aren't classified, like the Prestige Aura and the Golden Sevens bundle, for example, and some stuff which is classified, which we can't see with no details on them, and they look something like this. Their description reads, "Keep it secret, keep it safe," which is a funny message from Bungie there. So as of right now, there appears to be 42 legendary classified items, all marked keep it secret, keep it safe, and also 14 exotic pieces of gear, 10 of them armor, 4 of them weapons. Now, this absolutely does not mean there are 14 exotics coming to Destiny soon that are hidden. Definitely do not jump to that conclusion. I wouldn't be surprised if there's 1 or 2, but 14 is definitely very unlikely, and there's a lot of reasons of why they could be here. So some of them could be simply leftover assets from existing exotics that we already have in the game right now that just haven't been deleted yet. I'm sure some of them very well could be exotic quest lines like the Sleeper Simulant, No Time to Explain, Black Spindle, and some of them could be exotics we're getting in the Curse of Osiris DLC, which launches in 2 months from now. Obviously, it's cool to know there are some hidden exotics, but it is weird to have 14 of them. But take things like this with a grain of salt. I mean, some of the publicly listed exotics include the archetype perks, which are super weird, like the frames of adaptive or rapid fire, high impact, those kind of things are listed as exotics, which you can see here. But like I said, I highly doubt there's 14 hidden exotics that Bungie is just going to drop on us one day. It's cool to point out these things exist, and we know Bungie has some stuff up their sleeves, but we can never know exactly how much this is going to make it into the game. Now, in terms of most of the other stuff, it does seem like a lot of it could be related to live events and events that haven't currently been released yet. So things like Iron Banner, the weapons and armor, which are still classified. I mean, the weapons and armor pieces in total would make up about 20 to 30 items because those are not public in the database yet. A lot of the future event loot is actually public right now, such as the Prestige raid gear, which has been public for weeks. And there's also those other faction weapons which weren't in the faction rally this time around, but those are also public. We've seen those before. I covered them in a video, but there's a ton of stuff. And it seems that most of the loot rewards for future events are slowly trickling into the game. So in terms of those future events that we know of course, the Iron Banner and Prestige Raid are launching next Tuesday. Although we don't know for certain, it's very safe to assume that Festival of the Lost is going to return as well. Also SRL, because let's face it, they're fueled by Eververse, and these tiny events actually make more money than full-size DLCs, which is crazy to think of, but is actually a true fact. So you can guarantee these events like SRL, Festival of the Lost, these are going to return. And Deej even mentioned at the end of the blog post that soon they're going to be detailing some stuff to come in the future. Only some of those things like Iron Banner and the Prestige Raid have been announced, and he said it won't be long until they start plotting some of the more distant milestones, which is safe to assume is going to be that Osiris DLC and live events. So next up, for a long time we've of course seen the Prestige Raid armor sets inside the database, and it seems that Bungie have actually changed the names and descriptions of some of them, which is really weird. So the Warlock gear, for example, was called the Mask of Sekris, the Wraps of Sekris, the Robes and Boots, all of Sekris. Those are the names of the set. And Sekris is actually a Fallen who is inside Callus's army of assassins. I talked about in a recent video how Callus has this group of a mix of aliens that he threatened and bribed into this group working for him, and they're called the Shadows. And he uses this kind of elite group of his assassins to take out his enemies, Ghoul being one of those main targets, of course. So it's pretty cool how one of them is actually a Fallen working under Callus. Now, a few days ago, the items have actually been changed to the headpiece, robes, etc., all of the Emperor's Minister. So it's not about Sekris anymore, and the lore has even been changed as well. So instead of being about Sekris, it's now about the Emperor's Minister, which is essentially you, the Guardian. So one of the craziest things about this is that, like I said, the lore tabs have been changed and they tell a new story. And this story is saying that Callus has actually forgiven Ghoul and he wants him to join him again. He says how he's forgiven Ghoul's mistakes and even offers him a position inside his army as the Primus of the Red Legion. That was his kind of offer to him. A Primus is basically a commander of the Cabal army. So it's super weird to have this gear be changed, and also for Callus to have a change of heart completely. In his book, I mean, Ghoul was literally #1 on the list of betrayers and the #1 list of people he wants dead, but now he's willing to forgive him and offer him a job, basically. So I think it's really, really strange, and I wonder why the story team thought to change it. Maybe they thought it was a better story, but it's interesting nonetheless. I believe the first one to post about this was another YouTuber called Mylan Games, so full credit goes to him. I'll link his video down below if you want to learn more about this stuff in depth. So something that was actually clarified today by Bungie due to a lot of confusion on the topic was the fact that Iron Banner will of course have weapons. I mean, I'm sure most of you guys that watch my videos will know that because I've shown off these weapons a billion times, but a lot of people in general that hadn't seen these images did think there might not be weapons in Iron Banner simply because Bungie in the blog post did not say anything about weapons. They just said earn packages to earn armor, and of course they showed off these armor sets, so they didn't mention weapons, but a lot of people were kind of worried thinking there might not be guns, or maybe they're being saved for future events, which I guess is a valid concern if you haven't seen the weapons. But Bungie said play Iron Banner to earn tokens, win to earn more, redeem them with Lord Saladin to earn Iron Banner rewards, including armor and weapons. So there you go. I'm sure that not every single Iron Banner weapon is going to be inside those Iron Banner engrams. Probably just a few of them, similar to Faction Rally, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what those guns are going to be. Now, on the other side, something that Bungie haven't been very clear about is if we're actually getting a raised level cap for the actual Prestige raid. I mean, pretty much anyone who's been around knows that every single raid, all 4 of them, all the hard modes have raised their level cap, and they've brought a new light level of gear. So it's been a tradition for every single raid previously, but now it may be a bit different. Of course, the level cap of the raid itself is going to raise. That's going to be now 300 instead of 270, but Bungie have been a little bit kind of vague about it. They said the Prestige raid is about mastering a more punishing sandbox. Our goal is not to provide a boon to your character progression, which kind of implies, again, it's vague, but it kind of does imply they're not going to increase your character progression, i.e. power level. And they said there's unique rewards to help you shine. Consider this your invitation to prove to the world that you're among the very best of the raiders who overtook the city. Now, if you really focus and analyze on that, it does definitely give off the vibe that they may not be increasing the actual light level of gear, and maybe all the stuff dropping inside this hard mode is going to be 300, pretty much the same as what the current normal mode of the raid is going to be. Now, the main issue is that it seems like it would be a ton of work and a really, really difficult activity for not much rewards. I mean, if you think about it, this activity is going to be one of the hardest in the entire game because every single time when there's a raid launching, we're always over-leveled for it. If you think of the normal raid, most people are around 280, 90 plus, but for the Prestige raid, we're going to be going in basically 5 levels above it. So I think people are underestimating just how difficult this is going to be, especially when you add on top of the fact there's going to be more powerful enemies, probably no revives at all, and of course a ton more mechanics to learn as well. So if that is the case and the gear is going to be dropping at 300 or 305 with mods, then this Prestige raid is actually going to be no joke, and I'm looking forward to seeing just how difficult it's going to be because it could be a real challenge. And again, think back to Destiny 1, every single raid that's become easy for us has always been because we're way over leveled, but this time that is not going to be the case. So let me know down below in the comment section, what do you think of this if the level cap of the raid increases but your gear does not? So as well as that, wanted to also mention that Xur is back in town, and he of course is on the EDZ, and he is selling probably one of the best inventories he ever has sold, and probably will for a very long time. All of these exotics are very, very good. Definitely pick them up, as many as you can, to be honest. Now obviously these are not stuff you can get during the campaign, so it makes them a little bit more rare, as opposed to most weeks where he sells stuff you can get from Sloan. But this time around he's got the Vigilance Wing, which is one of the best pulse rifles, if not the best pulse rifle in Crucible. Something else that's also one of the best Crucible helmets is the Foe Tracer for the Hunter. This thing basically gives you Keen Scout, it tracks enemies, and the damage thing isn't too great, but the main thing is the tracking feature to see enemies around corners. So once you see them, it tags them and it gives you Keen Scout, and you compare this with something like the Gunslinger to have a really, really good tracking ability. So again, Foe Tracer, very good. The Insurmountable Skull Fort for the Titan. This is actually one of the best PvE exotics for the Striker, and this one can actually give you a cool trick of giving you infinite shoulder charges. So kills with arc melee abilities, which is a shoulder charge, triggers health regeneration, and restores melee ability, which is also shoulder charge. So you can literally just keep on killing enemies, and it is definitely one of the most fun PvE exotics for the Titan. And then for the Warlocks, you have the Nezarec Sin, which isn't one of the best in the world, but it is definitely very good still, especially for the Void Walker. You can basically put on a Void energy weapon, and this is going to charge your nade very quickly, which of course is helpful for your Devour effect. So make sure you grab any of these exotics that you don't already have, and anytime Xur sells something that's really, really good, I want to let you guys know about it. So something else I wanted to show you guys was something cool I was sent today by the folks over at Activision and Funko Pops. And these, as you can see, is actually some of these sets of Funko Pop Destiny 2 figures, which is pretty cool. I've seen these things all over the internet. They seem to be very big collectibles, and some people are crazy about these Funko Pop things and collecting them, but I never had one myself. But they're actually pretty cool. So you got the Vanguard being Cade, Akora, and Zavala, and also Lord Shaxx and Oryx as well. So this stuff is really funny. And there's also, I believe, Crota and Atheon, maybe some others as well. But there's a full set of this stuff. And I've seen quite a lot of you guys tweet me images of ones that you've got. I've seen Xur as well. That one looks really, really cool. But of course, let me know if any of you guys are collecting these as well. But as always, if you guys enjoyed the video and want to help support the channel, then a like rating down below would be much appreciated. Of course, subscribe for a bunch more Destiny 2 videos. And if you want to watch another one I made, then you can click the image on screen right now. And I'll see you guys next one.